It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation.
Lake City, South Carolina, what's going on? This is the Crown Prince of Soul Music, Calvin Richardson. Stopping by to let you know that Friday, September the 26th, I will be at the Lake City Event Center with the young Sugar Daddy. Just then, he'll be performing live along with Level 10's live band. DJ Tony T will be on the ones and twos. So make sure that you're in the place to be because I want to meet and greet you while you're there. Friday, September the 26th. Get your tickets at IamCalvinRichardson.com.
It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Showtime, everybody. Hello, what's happening, man? Let me do this real quick. It's time for the Geno Jones Show. As I just make it a little small. I just had to click that button. Monday through Fridays, me and you, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 4:30 on the West Coast. Tell everybody to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for all my new subscribers. I'm about 60, only 65 new subscribers from becoming a YouTube partner. That means that YouTube will monetize this channel, the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel, and my media company. It is so important that we support Black-owned businesses. You can also support this media company, a Black-owned business, Black-owned media. Nobody's going to tell our story better than us. You can use Zelle, Geno Jones Show at Gmail. That's my email address, Geno Jones Show at Gmail. Or you can use Cash App, $Dad G Jones. All one word, $Dad G Jones. No amount is too small or too large. So leave your comments in the comment section. Subscribe, share. You can rip some of the video, chop it up, or you can do a screenshot. We're going to have some great monologue, great conversation. My guest, my legal expert returns, Sean Mitchell calling from Chicago. And you know how we get down. It's just going to be an amazing show. Now, the show, if you're watching me live right now, the show is interactive. That means that if you got a question or you got a comment, you want to join the conversation, you want to start the conversation, just go to my chat room. You'll see where it says live chat and type in your question, your comment, or whatever you want to say, or shout out. Maybe it's your birthday. I think Will Smith is celebrating a birthday. Big Willie style, Will Smith. Everybody's celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday. All right, let me kick it off because I want to get Sean on because, a lot has happened since the last time we've talked to him. I've talked about this idea that by the way, the Geno Jones Show brought to you by Courtney Johnson. Kojo LLC is her company, COJOLLC.com. KojoLLC.com. If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the Carolinas, South Carolina, North Carolina, just give Courtney Johnson a call. Tell her you've been watching the Geno Jones Show and thank her for being a sponsor of this show. 843 is the area code. 543-4022. 843 area code 543-4022. Double deuces. All right, ask Courtney. Okay, now I've been talking about, there's so much talk about DEI, anti-DEI, which is really anti-black, anti-black and brown, and really anti-women too. Got to throw that in there, and anti-LGBTQ also. So, but diversity, equity, and inclusion, and let's get rid of it. Let's anti-DEI, the government, the MAGA cult. And I just want to mention it again because I'm going to continue to mention it. I'll do a longer form monologue again next week on the same topic because we need to keep talking about it because people are still bitching and moaning and talking about, anti-DEI, and we got to take this out of the library and in museums. And Black history has to be taught to the approval of Orange Hitler, which means he don't want it taught at all. Well, slavery wasn't bad. The slaves, they developed skills. That bullshit. That's what we're not going to do here on the Geno Jones Show. So we're going to just dispel that myth and rumor as I step off camera. So I had an idea. For those of you guys who watch the show on a regular basis, you have heard me mention this before. I'm going to mention it again. And I'm sure Sean, I know Sean, because he and I haven't had this conversation too. We'll be like, yeah, it was about damn time. So my idea is like, okay, since DEI is such a problem, let's anti-DEI everything. Everything. I mean, like everything. Not just yet the schools and workplace and corporate America. Okay, cool. But while we're at it, let's not stop there. Let's not stop at the government or in education or law or medicine. If we're gonna do this, as they say, in Chicago, either on the south or west side, or here in the east side of Charleston, we're gonna see if you really are about that life, as the kids say. So let's go all the way with it. Let's anti-DEI the NFL. Let's anti-DEI the NBA. College football. Let's anti-DEI that. Let's anti-DEI college basketball. Let's anti-DEI entertainment. Let's anti-DEI our money. See how that's going to work out for you. Boy, I bet they'll reverse that. Then they'll be anti-DEI, the anti-DEI. It'll be, wait a minute, man. You messing with our money. It'll be like, we love DEI. It'll be on T-shirts and everything. So I digress. Still a lot of talk about Jimmy Kimmel. And to Jimmy Kimmel's credit, late night talk show host on the ABC network, of course, the MAGA cult FCC chairman Brendan Carr, because Orange Hitler told him to basically, because he was pissed off, and the MAGA cult, they were pissed off about basically Jimmy Kimmel made a statement that was really the truth about this cult and how the cult will co-opt people and they'll promote people and put them out there to promote divisive, racist, anti-black, anti-brown, anti-women, conversation or rhetoric, or just that type of, you could call it hate, because it was really hateful hate speech. Just bullshit. It's just anti-black and brown ideology. All right, just white Christian nationalism, this Jesus-free version of Christianity. It's called white Christian nationalism. And so Jimmy Kimmel was taken off by Disney, the Disney Corporation that owns the ABC network. He came back. You had some of the local affiliated stations. Affiliates are not owned by ABC. You have ABC owned and operated stations and affiliates. Affiliates go into a legal agreement, a contract. Say, okay, we want to be your affiliate, and we will agree to carry your programming, ABC network, and that's basically how it works. And it benefits because the ABC, these local stations that are owned by these MAGA cults like Nexstar, MAGA cult owners, Nexstar, Sinclair, which are probably the two biggest, that owns hundreds of local stations around the country. And basically, because Nexstar, they're trying to merge with this company, Tegna, and it's like a $6.2 billion merger. But the bottom line is, the people spoke. Like I said, the people have the power. People were canceling their Disney, ESPN, Hulu subscriptions because Disney owns ESPN. ESPN just launched this huge app where you can stream everything, anything, any kind of content, anything you see on ESPN, ESPN Plus. You can bet on games, all of that. So they're like, wait a minute, folks are canceling these subscriptions. You messing with our money. It wasn't like Disney wasn't going to have a hard time making payroll, but still, one thing about billionaires and very wealthy, powerful, rich people with a lot of money, they don't like to lose it. Even though they can afford to lose a lot. They don't like to lose a penny. So they was like, hold on, this is not working. So he was back on the air. Then there's a little thing called the First Amendment. Just that little in the Constitution, there was a little problem there. But Sean is going to get into that. So Jimmy Kimmel back on the air. He roasted Orange Hitler. But here's my call to America. America, I need you to have the same energy for Jimmy Kimmel. Look, I like Jimmy Kimmel. He's not my number one go-to dude. Stephen Colbert is my dude. David Letterman was my dude. But I like Jimmy. Jimmy's funny. But he said his show was not important. Protecting the right for a show like his to be on broadcast television over the public airwaves, to be able to criticize whoever is at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, because they lit up Joe Biden's ass, every president. They made jokes about Barack Obama, okay? And you name it, you name the president, from Reagan, Clinton, they made jokes about all of them. But I need America to have the same energy in Hollywood and all the big stars, especially our white brothers and sisters and supposed allies, all you big celebrities, Meryl Streep, all of you all that stood up and shouted out and publicly protested, said to Jimmy Kimmel. I'm gonna need you all to have the same energy for the next black person that Orange Hitler wants taken off TV. Okay? I'm gonna need that same energy. And black America, we know what we need to do. And one more thing before I bring Sean on, there's going to be a lot of propaganda. Propaganda is a really fancy word for bullshit and lies. and misinformation. So I'm just breaking it down like I would in the barbershop. Propaganda is just bullshit. It's just what we want you to believe and think. It's not rooted in truth and fact and truth in most cases. It's just we want you to believe this bullshit because we want to control your thoughts, your actions. We want you to live in fear. We want you to give us our money. The MAGA cult, when the government shuts down, because September 30th is the deadline for them to come to a new agreement in terms of spending money, the MAGA cult and Orange Hitler will shut down the government. It will not be the Democrats, because some of you all are going to be looking at some of these MAGA cult worshiping, appealing to the dear leader, cable outlets. Well, are the Democrats going to let the government be shut down? And I'm not getting a penny from the Democrats, so I am not a Democratic spokesman. I'm an American. I'm a black man in America. Tell the truth, shame the devil. That's what we do on this show. But so I'm telling you, when you hear this foolishness, well, the Democrats, no, if we're going to tell, as my grandmother said, if you're going to tell it all and tell it right. Tell the truth, shame the devil, or stop talking. So the MAGA cult will shut down the government. Orange Hitler will shut down the government because the cult controls the White House, the executive branch, the legislative branch, that is the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, and they even control what they call the judiciary branch, which is the Supreme Court. So when the government shuts down, you need to call whoever your representative is, be it a Democrat or Republican, but please know and understand that the people who have the political power and who want to and why does the MAGA cult want to shut the government down? Because they want to be allowed to take away your health care. And if they can't take away your health care, then they're going to shut the government down and then use that to fire even more people. You've had over 375,000 black women that have lost jobs, qualified, many of them in the federal government. So I just needed to say that. And let me bring my guest on, ladies and gentlemen, my legal expert, brilliant brother. You've seen him on the show. He's been rocking with me almost the entire 5 years that the show will be on. We will, as a matter of fact, next Wednesday will mark our 5-year anniversary on October 1st. He has been rocking with me, legal expert, educator, legal expert, and just an amazing brother. And
thank you.
And family. Dear family, Mr. Sean Mitchell. And wait a minute, who do we have? Oh,
This is our fur baby, Sphinx. He's been with us since the beginning of the COVID
Oh,
pandemic, back March 29th, 2020.
Sphinx,
And so yeah, his name is Sphinx, the like
Sphinx.
the riddle Sphinx in Egypt,
Yes,
because he
Sphinx.
lays his body out like a sphinx.
Like a
But
Sphinx. I
he
love it.
likes to be, yeah, he likes to be famous,
Well, that's
and so
okay.
that's why he's
That's
here. That's
okay.
why he's here.
That's
I'm gonna
right. Well,
put him down.
he could be part of the show. What breed is he?
He is Javi Poo. He's a Havanese and a poodle.
Okay.
So his dad was one of those tall poodles,
Okay.
and he's Havanese, and he's like he's a member of the family, crazy about him, and he lives the very charmed life. One last thing about Sphinx: every morning when I get up, he has his 2 slices of turkey bacon, or his day is not going well. He is so spoiled. He's traveled from here to Miami, Alabama, Louisiana. He's been to Wisconsin, New York. He is a world traveler. And one final thing about Sphinx, I got him at an Amish kennel. Was with a friend to help them pick up some furniture, and I love everybody that's ever known me knows I love dogs. And I went into the kennel, and he was the run of the litter, and he kept following me and following me. He was an all black dog in this Amish community in
He was like,
in
help,
Indiana.
help.
He's like, brother man,
Right. Hey,
I,
wait.
I want to come home with you.
Sean, it was like in
Yes.
Get Out. He was like, brother, help, help, free me. Free me. I'm going to stop. Free me.
So everybody's crazy about Sphinx. Even when he makes a mistake in the house, his mommy is crazy about him. And he's just awesome. He's expensive though. So if you're out to get a dog, they cost a lot of money.
Wow.
It's like having it's half the cost of a child depending on the breed, but it's just as much responsibility as having a child. And
Well, insurance,
I
trust me,
totally
because we had it with Teddy, and we still have Minx the cat. Listen, animal insurance is like human insurance.
Yes, it is. It is. Because the last thing you want is your dog gets or your pet gets extremely sick and you can't do anything to help them. And one last thing I'll say about pets. Now on social media and friends that say, "Hey, my dog died or my cat died or my reptile died," whatever. I can feel that connection because our pets only have a short period of time with us.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, a dog may live to 18, 20 years, but that's more on the extreme
Yeah.
rare side.
That's very
You know,
rare.
it's usually like 10, 12, 14 years.
Teddy was
And
14.
so,
We lost him
yeah,
last October 2nd. So he was 14
yes,
years old. But I mean, in
yeah.
human years, that was almost 100. So
Yeah, right. And so Sphinx was born in December of 2019, and so he's 6 years in. And so I'm always concerned in making sure he gets the best. And people say, well, you shouldn't give him turkey bacon and this. If it reduces him by a year or so, as long as he's happy while he's here, you can see the loyalty and everything. So that's my thing about animals.
that's okay.
I'm
I
real
love it.
protective about pets
Yeah,
and the environment and all those
I'm
things.
right there
So
with you. But now he's
yeah,
almost middle aged, so cut back on that human food.
yeah, yeah.
cut
Yeah,
back on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Cut
But
back on that
now,
human food.
here's the last thing, and his mom will see this video later on. Uh, he gets mad sometimes and has an accident in the house because he didn't get like
Really?
he smells it. Okay, let me say
Oh,
this. I know this is stereotyping, but I'm just going to be honest from my experience with black people that have dogs. We give the dog table food.
yeah.
My
Oh, wait.
dog,
Let me hold
because
on,
I
Sean.
don't eat.
Wait, black folks ain't the only one that does do that
Yeah,
now.
you're right. You're right. But I'm just speaking
Yeah, from the
particularly on
culture.
my
Yes. Oh, yeah.
experience. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so if we fry some chicken, the Sphinx is looking at us like, yo, Where my
am I?
chicken
Yes.
at? Where my chicken at?
Teddy did the same
And
thing, man. Come on, yes he
you
did.
know, and so I know there's everybody's listening to this is probably saying as a pet owner, yeah, we're not supposed to do this. And farmer's pet is awesome, but in this economy, paying $120 a month for him some dog food when I can make his dog food here, what I do is I found out what seasonings my dog could deal with. And when I cook him stuff, like if I grill something, I season it to things that won't harm him
Oh, good.
and put it on the grill and I cut up his and I mix it in with his dog food. I
Well,
use
I'm sure his vet
beneficials. I do.
told you everything that you can, because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
do have to
it's
be
yeah.
careful. Like there's something like
Yeah.
chocolates, but
Yeah, right, right,
you
right.
love dogs, so I already know that you've already talked to his vet. You know
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah,
what
yeah,
he
yeah,
can and
yeah.
can't have.
He goes to the vet this weekend, and we'll have a full conversation about everything. He's getting older, and do that. That's why I say, if you love your dog, it's very expensive to have a dog.
Yeah,
And I
but it's
didn't
worth it.
realize because this is my second dog, but my first dog wasn't my dog alone. It was my college roommates with me, and so we shared in the responsibility. So I remember back in the '90s the vet bill for Major was something like $6 each, and it was four of us. And that was because one of my roommates, my frat brother, found a dog that he just had to have, and we was just like, okay, we'll chip in because he was a cool dog. And so this is my first actual dog that I own, so I'm like really crazy. But I hope that this conversation shows all the MAGA people and the people on the right that people that are left for center are just like you. We have pets and animals, we have children, we care about all these different things that you care about. And you shouldn't allow the president of the United States to frame us as enemy of one another. But let me add this secondary part. The right is not the only group that has been taught how to protect themselves, arm themselves, and all those things. I grew up in Maywood, Illinois, home of Fred Hampton. I had a grandfather that was from Alabama and a grandmama from Mississippi, a mother that served 25 years in the military, a stepfather that served 30 years in the military, and family members, uncles, aunts, cousins, great uncles that served in World War II in Korea, and cousins that served in Vietnam. Don't be deceived that you can just intimidate and bully and that it's going to work like that, because it's not. Yes, my politics tend to lean to the left, more liberal, but
But can I say this?
don't
Let me just say this,
don't
Joe.
I need to finish this because I'm probably going to debut my podcast real soon.
Oh, good. Go ahead. But what I want to say
Don't
is
be deceived that I won't put you down because of you feeling like you have the opportunity to carry out political violence on me because my thought process and the way I go about things is different from yours. I'm not gonna fight you or threaten violence to you because we have different political views, but where I will fight you and threaten violence against you is if you bring violence against me and mine. And I urge every person that's on the left to be very informed about your security. I know the left doesn't like guns and they want gun reform. Well, hey, that's too late in the game. We live in a country where there's an influence of guns. I believe that at this point, out of self-preservation, my friends on the left should be out learning how to shoot and operate weapons because we don't know where this is going. We have a person in charge of the government that every single day says the radical left. So what does that mean? To the person that doesn't understand politics, that has this sixth grade education that the average American citizen has, that makes people like you and I seem like the other, like we're some kind of radical person to be exterminated and dealt with.
or the
I think
enemy,
it would be, or the enemy. And here's where I'm disappointed in our Democratic legislators and people that are leaning left. Kumbaya and hey, let's get along is all over. They've declared war on that. And what I was taught growing up in Maywood, Broadview, West Side of Chicago is when a bully threatens you, he means it. So guess what? That bully threatens me on the school ground. Okay, fine. I'm gonna go down the street on my way home. We lure him into the alley, pick up the biggest stick I can, and beat him over the brains with it. Democrats, stop playing like this is okay. This is not normal. This is not okay at all. And it would be a disservice to the people I love, to black people, to the people on the left, and the people on the right. Because some of y'all are targets too. Yeah. I want to make it clear.
That's a whole
some of you never Trumpers, some of you real conservatives, the George Wills of the world. Look, it's amazing that one of the conservatives that I could not stand was the first person 6 months into the Trump administration. He sent FBI to his house because of a book that he wrote. Forgive me for not knowing that big bushy mustache white boy that talked about Obama like a dog. It's a bunch of Republicans that did that. But I didn't wish them no harm. I wished them to meet me in the arena of debate. Speaking of debate, I know this. I hope you're comfortable with what I'm going to say, and I take full responsibility.
No,
for what I'm finna
go
say.
ahead, because I was.
I think you know where I'm finna go.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm finna go there.
But so, let's do this first of all, because I want to not tie a bow, but I need to amplify what you were just talking about. First of all, I'm 10 toes down with you, but let's make it clear, not just for America, but for the world. Everybody watching this show globally, but you have to understand. And I've said this on this show countless times. The times we're living in now, it is not even about a political ideology. So all these labels, once again, I'm a master of the media. I've been in this game for 3.5 decades. Okay, so I understand how they manipulate the public. So please, when you hear these labels, like I talked about, okay, how many of these media outlets are going to try to frame when the government shuts down. Well, the Democrats going, no. Just tell the truth, shame the devil. The folks that have the power to shut the government down, to keep it open, want the government shut down because they want to take away your health care. So please understand that. But it is not a choice. All these labels that used to really be valid, liberal, conservative, because, as humans, these labels are conflicting.
Everybody wants to be in a category.
Yes, because in certain areas you may feel a certain way, but here's the deal. It's a clear choice, Sean. It's a bright line. You are either you are for humanity or inhumanity.
Yes.
Period.
Yes.
Full stop.
Yes.
You are for people having health care, people being able to get food assistance and SNAP benefits.
Yes.
You are for grandparents and parents to be able to maintain health care and have the support of the federal government through Medicaid, so they can stay in a nursing home and pay for their rehabilitation and make sure that their wheelchair or oxygen or home health care or a housekeeper that comes by to clean their house and cook their meals and take them to the doctor. If you for all children to have an education, all A-L-L, all for all people, for all people to be able to live in peace and harmony, for all people to be able to have the opportunity to make a real living wage, like $25 an hour now, because a big box of cereal now is $10. And in terms of what you said, if somebody is violent to you, you will be violent back. That's not violence. That's self-defense.
That's self-defense, and one of the reasons, and one of the reasons why we understand that, especially in the black community, we think about the Medgar Everts of the world or the Emmett Tills of the world. We think about Tulsa.
Dr.
We
King?
think about
Malcolm
Dr.
X.
King, Malcolm X. We think about all these different things. And what's amazing is that throughout the media, when they're framing this and talking about it, especially right-wing media, the first thing they bring up is Chicago and the black on black crime. But when nobody talks about in black on black crime, those individuals get caught, they're prosecuted. Okay? Let's be clear. The majority get caught and they're prosecuted. Okay? And so while we're talking about black on black crime, I don't defend crime at any level. I don't care what color you are. You do the crime, you deserve the time. That's reality. I also realize that there's social economic situations that create crime. And what my goal is to fix the socioeconomic situation so that the crime does not happen. Okay. And at the same time, I believe in police and policing and law enforcement reforms so that we can solve the crimes that they're not solving and create a public trust between the police and the community. Because the police have never been designed to be in the community trust. Look up where
Slave
police
patrols.
come from.
Let's talk about about
Slave
slave patrols.
patrols, Pinkerton, put down unions, put down protests. That's what the police is about. That's why ICE is beyond the bounds of what Americans can accept. ICE and the border patrol are supposed to operate within the border area and at ports of entry in the United States. That is the federal law that governs that. Doesn't mean ICE can't raid businesses or seek out or execute warrants for illegal immigrants in the country. But there's nowhere in the law that ICE can be a roving police patrol. Why? As I've said earlier, before on earlier episodes in this program, the federal government does not have policing powers throughout the states. So even with dude in the White House sending the National Guard, he's violating posse comitatus, which means the military cannot be deployed inside the United States unless there's an insurrection or a violation of various federal laws, but it's a very thin place. Why? Because the same thing that the civil rights movements and various movements that women went through, the LGBTQ and all these different things, the first thing that conservatives point out is the federal government does not have policing powers and their states' rights. So the next big thing we're going to see is California, and I hope Illinois, and I hope a whole bunch of other states pass this law about law enforcement covering their faces. Put a paper clip in that. What I urge everybody to see, and I think it's on Prime or one of these networks.
Do this. On that
I want to point this out though.
Okay.
This is important. Watchmen, the movie, it's a movie where they explain why during that movie, and the movie starts off with the Tulsa riots.
Yes.
All right. And then the movie moves to a modern time, okay? And it talks about, I was in the comic books, so I read Watchmen all the time, but little did I know it was deeper than what I knew, and I feel sorry for Marvel being bought up by Disney, because Marvel comics really have a deep sense of egalitarianism in them and fair and civil rights. That's because the founders
of egalitarianism. Explain that. What does that
mean? It means everybody being treated equal no matter what's going on, and nobody it's egalitarian. I'm sorry, excuse my West Side dialect.
It's all good. No.
But it's egalitarian. But in that sense, it means that we're all treated. The law operates on all of us the same, no matter how much money, what color you are, what your sexuality is. And I believe in a society being built like that. I would hope that most of us believe in a society being built like that. I don't believe in authoritarianism. I don't believe in a dictatorship. I don't believe in communism. I do believe in socialism to a certain extent. In other words, things that operate inside the public interest should be socialized, whether it's water systems, electricity, military, schools, government as a whole should be a socialist entity. But I don't believe in communism. I don't believe in Marxism. I don't believe in all these things. And I know I'm upsetting some of my friends that I ally with. But one of the reasons why I believe in this hybrid version of what I wish we could really achieve, where capitalism exists, where if I want to make billions of dollars, I should be allowed to make that money. That doesn't mean I'm exempt from paying taxes or it gives me a higher elevation. My vote is still one. I can still do all these things, but I believe in the opportunity that if I can grow and develop my business and it's completely legal, I should be able to make as much money as I want to. And hopefully with me making money, it would allow me to go out and help other people that I support or people that I want to. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. I don't believe in a system where the government owns industry. And the amazing part about the current administration is everything this dude said about President Barack Obama or President Joe Biden or even President Clinton, he is, he's taken ICE and turned them into some kind of militaristic force that is above the law, that can do whatever they want to do, even if they don't execute warrants. He's fired hundreds of immigration judges, and now he's proposing taking military judges and putting them in a place of immigration judges. Let me explain to you what the problem is. All due respect to the military, but the military tribunals and judges operate differently than our regular federal courts and immigration judges and state courts, because the military courts operate off the military rules, not necessarily what would be the rules applied out here in the real world. But let's put a paperclip in that. If you want to solve the immigration problem, instead of going after moms and dads and landscapers and roofers like he did in Naperville, Illinois, one of the richest communities in the country, that's my next door neighbor. I live in Plainfield. They live in Naperville. It's right there together. I don't mind sharing that. What he did is go after the workers. Why aren't you going after the companies? And then to show you that it can backfire, cut a deal with Hyundai to put the battery factory here. And then at the same time, you send agents into that factory to arrest them. I got all due respect for the South Koreans. Shout out to the South Koreans. They said they're not coming back. Now, I don't know whether that plant that it was going to have 8,500 jobs is still going to be there. But what I do know, a MAGA Republican is running for Congress in that area that reported them and bragged about it. She should never get power.
And now,
see, here's what you need to pay attention to. The MAGA Barbies, MGT, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nancy Mace, that's there in your state,
Nancy Mace,
Lauren Boebert, have all straddled this line, with Green being the outlier, talking about defending the Gazans and the Palestinians. She recognizes the canary in the coal mine. As terrible as she is, she might be a wise politician recognizing the canary in the coal mine by saying, release the Epstein files. Any woman inside the Senate and the House that does not vote to release the Epstein files, not just the women that have been raped, the women that are mothers. Think about that.
And the
Just
men.
stop and think about that. And I'm going to start with the women. I'm not dismissing the men. I'm going to get to them.
But I'm going
to get to them. But I'm pointing out the women, because these women ran on an effort to say that Joe Biden was dangerous to their kids. And they supported the dude that time and time again has shown he's more dangerous to children, especially young women, than anybody else. And
Healthcare.
so we live in a hypocritical era right now. We live in an era where people are being attacked for achieving the American dream that you and I was taught about in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You're supposed to go to school, get an education, come out with a job, buy a home, take care of your family, and do all those things. And all of a sudden, by us doing all those things, and oh, by the way, they level the playing field, DEI is bad. So much that you have white guys with MAGA hats deciding to go to a HBCU
Okay.
to set up a table
Thank
to
you.
say all of this.
I was going
Not only
to steer you there. Thank you. For great minds think
but
alike.
everything right now is steering towards a conflict that
Yes.
they want to have.
Yes.
That's what I'm pointing out. They want to have a conflict at the HBCUs. While Trump, at one hand, cuts the funding from HBCUs, he sends money to the HBCUs. It's the same. So he plays this double-handed game.
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge that because he did cut the funding, but at the same time gave them more funding. And to be honest, at this point, I want to really investigate what was the flim-flam there because I don't trust anything he does. Here's the other dynamic. You have a federal government, by pushing their agenda, are willing to label up, because I ain't forgetting what happened in that Senate hearing with Cash, where my eyes focused at Patel when he said some cabinet members are on the Epstein list.
Yes, folks in your
There's a
cabinet.
lot of people on that Epstein list. I don't care if it's Democrats. I don't care who it is. I want to know who's on that list. And whoever's on that list needs to be prosecuted. And at the same time, if the MAGA people and Republicans are not willing to prosecute them, then you're just as much of a pedophile as that. But here's the reality. This is what nobody wants to talk about. Pedophilia is more accepted in the United States than people want to admit. There's a lot of underage, there's a lot of men messing with children, whether it's older men messing with young girls, or whether it's older men messing with boys. Let's talk about it. If you're a 52 or 53-year-old man like I am, you have no business talking to a 21-year-old. Now, a lot of men are listening to this say, she grown, she can do what she want to do. We're not on the same level mentality, or are we? Because some of y'all simple-minded like that, and you can't date a real woman in your age, a professional woman, so you got to go prey on small women. Women that are 21 and 22 are children. I teach them every day. Yes, they're grown, but intellectually, they don't have the life experience I am. So how dare you? And see, here's in this world, there's a lot of daddies missing. So the 16 to 23-year-old female is ripe for the picking from older men. Why? Because the new thing is, I'm going to find me a zaddy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And that makes it great. And I know I'm upsetting some of my friends. Some people going to send me messages, say, dude, you're telling too much of the game. But here's the truth.
Tell it all.
I have a daughter. When she was 21, if a 53-year-old man tried to talk to her, I'd be talking to you from cell block H right now.
Would you say
because I'd end his life.
You'd be not quite 100 miles kind of south of where you are in Pontiac.
Yeah, I'd be in Pontiac, Illinois. You're right.
Past Joliet, you'd be down in Pontiac. Yeah.
They tearing Joliet down. Maybe listen, Menard. They may send me way downstate.
I was stopping you because I only paused you because I wanted to amplify a couple things that you were saying. So let me go back to one. I don't want to dwell on it, but I just want to amplify.
I'm still here, but let me get some water.
That's cool. I wanted to amplify when you talked about how you want, especially governors, and you didn't mention mayors, but mayors to make sure that they're using all the tools in their toolbox in terms of legal means. And I'm shouting out your boy who you're not a big fan of. And it's not that I'm a big fan of him personally. I am a fan of how, in this moment, he is standing up. So I will give him credit, what credit is due. Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago signed an executive order for now. I know it only affects Chicago police because he only has authority over Chicago police. So hopefully, like Sean, you were saying, hopefully that will, and Governor Pritzker, I have faith in him to sign a similar executive order. But Mayor Johnson of Chicago signed an executive order to where police cannot go around with their face covered. Their face has to be uncovered. They have to wear their blue uniforms. They have to your name tag has to be displayed. Body cameras on. So none of that, like a coward with a damn ski mask on your face. None of that bullshit. Now, let me segue from there. I wanted to get you to what happened at TSU. But I still want you to go where you were going when I paused you. But the reason I wanted to pause you there because I wanted to bring you back. I didn't know you were going to go to the college first, but this is what I want you to share with the viewers. Because you have an experience I personally don't have. As an HBCU grad, and even though you don't teach at an HBCU, you still have those connections. And you said you are an educator where you are teaching college students. So let me say this. I want to get your perspective as an HBCU grad and a professor about that whole incident.
So the acronyms have evolved. We have our historically black colleges, and amongst them, we have our UNCF colleges, which are 37 privately owned black universities like Fisk, Morehouse, Spelman, to just name a few off the top of my head. The rest are majority state funds them and different things. And then we have PWI schools, that's primarily white institutions. I teach at Chicago State that that functions like an HBCU, but it really is considered a PBI, primarily black institution, just not a HBCU. All right, so I want to make sure that's clear. And then there's other institutions like Northeastern Illinois, which is on the north side of Illinois, tends to operate like a primarily historically Hispanic university. You'll see a few of those towards Arizona, New Mexico, Western Texas, part of the country. And then you have Native American colleges. See, I want to explain all of this because these colleges educate. All right, so let's talk HBCUs, whether it's UNFC, PBI, whatever, primarily black college, whatever. The majority of our master's level and doctor level graduates in the black community come from a HBCU, meaning I went to Grambling, and then when I decided to go to law school or got accepted to law school, I went to Harvard. I went to Grambling, and when I went to law school, I went to Northwestern. Okay. When I went from my other degree, I went to Chicago State, and I went to Northern Illinois for my law degree. There are other black people who I want to be a psychiatrist. They go to Southern University. God forbid. I don't know why you would go there. Their band is terrible, but okay, I accept it.
Come on,
but they decide.
How does Southern get strays now, man?
Because I'm Grambling. I can't ever give Southern any leeway. We run the SWAC.
We still family now. We gotta.
Yeah, we still family.
Yeah, we family.
It's like cousins. It's like cousins. It's cousins fighting. Right. Mad shout out to the SWAC, all the schools in the SWAC, all the black universities.
Sean, say this. You can do that. We can have fun. with each
Yeah, we
other
can
as
have fun.
cousins.
Yeah.
But you can't
Right.
come on that campus with no red hat with that
No,
bullshit.
that's going to be my
Because we
point.
will come
And
see
here's
you.
this is important to everybody that listens to this show, to the HBCUs, to grandma that's got a kid in the HBCUs, to mama and daddy that's getting ready to send their kid to the HBCU. What we need to teach our kids is how to engage like those kids at Tennessee State. I know the first moment in my 19-year-old mind, 1991 at Grambling State University, and David Duke and his clan show up in my school with a table, we gonna whoop that ass. What I love about these young brothers and sisters, they didn't go violent, and don't go violent. Run them away from the point. Why are you here? Why are you at a black campus asking about DEI when you should be at the federal government, the Department of Defense, and asking why Pete Hegseth can fail upward? See, we never get the questions about insecure, illiterate,
Unqualified,
low information, unqualified white men
incompetent.
failing
That's
up.
the word. We got to throw that in.
Incompetent is important too. Why they get to fail up, but because I get to fill out the application and somebody realizes like, oh wow, Sean Mitchell, you smart as hell. We gonna make you the director because you qualified. I'm a DEI hire. The country is in this situation now because white folks had a problem voting for a black woman. But they're not the only ones. Some of you black men that are cool with us, I'm calling you out, is enough of y'all in certain precincts in the country that didn't vote for her that allowed that to happen. But wait, some of the Hispanic folks that I'm still worried, first one to tell you ICE is on the block, concerned, making
Hispanic
sure
men,
you didn't vote for it either.
Yeah.
Wait, some of you white women who
53%.
benefited the most from affirmative action, more than my mama did. My mama was in the military for 18 years, made it all the way to staff position. Wait. I need to say this to white women. My mama was in the military for 18 years, staff sergeant. When she got out of the military because her parents got sick and she had to come back to Illinois, and she went to Hines Hospital. Do you know what job they gave her in Hines Hospital after this woman set the travel detail for people like Colin Powell and the Joint Chief of Staffs in Europe? You know what job my mama got in Hines Hospital?
I can imagine.
Housekeeping.
I knew it.
So, my mama served in the United States military. My mama left me when I was 7 years old, me and my brother, to go join the United States military because she worked at Jovan Cologne Company out in Bensenville, and they was paying them something like $3.25 an hour. I can't stand grass oil now because I spilled some on my arm that broke me out. You know, and so I listen to these white people talk about DEI and all that shit. And what I know is the black people that I know that have worked in the government. I had an aunt that worked for DCFS here in Illinois for 40 years. I had an uncle that worked in the Reagan administration. He was a retired Air Force pilot from Vietnam, worked in the Reagan administration in the Pentagon. He earned all his shit. You know, I'm an alpha because I followed my uncle. My uncle is a conservative to this day. He's a Episcopalian minister in Washington, D.C. right now. And I still, even though politically we don't agree, although he didn't vote for Trump either time, my uncle, I respect. He's highly intelligent. And he divorced my aunt back in the 90s. And we still cool. And he's a Republican You know what I'm saying? And I still got respect. When we talk politics, that's what I'm talking about when I said earlier, the George Wills of the world. I don't like a lot of George Will's policies, but I love the fact that if I right now called George Will and had a podcast, George Will will come on that podcast and talk about conservatism, and we can have that discussion. Not what this is. This is a cult.
And thank you, Sean. I'm going to repeat this. Just need to interject this just to reinforce, and not just reinforce it, but to make sure that people really get this and get the moment that we're in. The ideology, the political ideologies, that shit is out the Sean's uncle, that Republican Party does not exist. Those people now would be considered and called Democrats, radical left. It is.
Yes, Ronald Reagan in this administration would be a Democrat. So think about that.
We are in a climate to where it is a choice.
And Ronald Reagan wasn't a Democrat since before he came to Hollywood, when the Democrats were Dixiecrats. He wasn't a Democrat in the modern era. And that's another thing. They lie about the history of the Democratic Party. Yes, during the Civil War and prior to the Civil War, Black Americans affiliated, and even after the Civil War, with the Republican Party, because the Republican Party was the more liberal party. We had liberal Republicans all the way until the mid-'80s. People don't even know what a liberal Republican looks like.
Google
go
Jack
look up.
Kemp.
Yeah, or Google Massachusetts modern political history, and then you'll learn. Or you go to a place like Minnesota or Michigan, where what's his name? That's a senator in Utah. Romney's dad was the governor in Minnesota. He was a fiscally conservative. And let me say this: I can understand when you start making money, because as I've gotten older in age, from 40 beyond, I started making money. I understand the allure of becoming a fiscal conservative. You don't want the fact that now I'm paying more taxes for it to be wasted on bullshit. I get that. But from a Black person's perspective that never experienced food stamps or any of those things growing up, but knew people who did, I don't have a problem if I'm making $120,000 paying more in taxes to make sure the mom with 3 kids making $24,000 can feed her kids and live in a nice apartment or house that's okay for them. I don't have a problem with that. And look, let me add this, and this is going to be the last thing I say.
Oh, no,
I was just having a conversation with my friends. Shout out to Moriah Baptist Church in Missionary Baptist Church in Charleston.
Okay.
Shout out to Broadview Baptist Church, where I grew up going to church. Those are the 2 churches that I've attended most of my life, and I support fully. But I'm not the most religious person. But one thing I do remember from Bible class in both of those churches, that Jesus cared about the least of us. And so where I have trouble is where all this Christian nationalism, and notice I added Christian nationalism, because Christian nationalism is sprinkled with white supremacy. Yes. Did y'all hear me?
Oh, it ain't sprinkled, it's soaked in it.
But I'm going to say sprinkled because there's coons that help participate in that. Mr. Scott, you thought I forgot about you. Can you give me a moment, just a moment, Geno?
Wait,
we
which
both,
one?
Wait, Geno, you gotta give me my moment, because
I am, but I gotta ask you this, because if it's a joke, I'm gonna help you with the punchline.
It ain't no joke. This is serious.
Is it Tim or Daryl?
It's Tim. I'm gonna start with Tim Scott.
Okay.
I don't know about Daryl Scott.
Oh, the preacher,
I know Tim
the light-skinned brother, remember?
No, Tim
him.
Scott, the senator.
Yes.
That's in your state. Hey, Tim, remember me? Remember when you told the church that I was on the radio station that Geno was on, and I was just dogging you, calling you a coon? Hey, dude, I'm in Illinois. I'm on Geno platform, and I'm calling you a coon still. And I'm not going to disrespect you by saying, I'm not going to disrespect the character that Bill Cosby put out of Abba Dooba Dooba, but that's who you are. I don't like you. You're a coon, and you still a coon. You're the biggest coon in the Senate. You are super coon. Where's your wife? Where's that white Barbie doll that you have been searching for? And I'm not gonna say the deacon's name that came to me to have a conversation about me and my church body when I was there, calling him a coon from the Sean Mitchell show at Star 99.7. You still a coon. And Tim Scott, November 1st, you could be my first guest to prove that you're not a coon, because you are a coon. Oh, I can't forget about your little cousin or your neophyte down in Florida that's running for governor.
Oh,
Super
Brian
coon.
Donalds?
Yes, Brian Donalds, super coon. I'm gonna come out on November 1st when I start my show with the coon list.
I like
I'm gonna
that.
put 20. I'm gonna rank 20 coons that need to be dealt with. I hate to make my show sound radical. I don't want to. I'm not violent at all, but I'm from Maywood, home of Fred Hampton. That should scare all of y'all. That I grew up at Proviso East and in Maywood with people that believed that you have to speak up and speak out. I am a revolutionary, not the "We Are Somebody" by Jesse Jackson. All due respect to Jesse Jackson, I appreciate that. I'm far more radical, if you give me my space, than Jesse Jackson. I am a revolutionary. I believe in this country where we are. Since people, you can show them the truth. Have you ever? There's people listening right now. You work with a MAGA person, and they cool, but then they get on that MAGA stuff. And so one day you show them stuff, and you say, "Hey, here is direct evidence written out.
Press
It
play.
shows.
Listen.
It shows that Trump, all those people from from January 6th, you know what they say to you? Oh, they didn't do nothing wrong. What? They was playing honky Kong on the side of the White House. Literally climbing up the wall. There's a meme on the internet called Honky Kong. Google it. It will show you them climbing up the walls, up the side of the thing. Mind you, some of these people are in ICE. I just want to point that out. They got pardoned. Think about that.
I think one
But
or
this
two
dude
are in the
came
U.S.
up.
Congress, too.
Yeah. Today, the president of the United States, and over the last few days, since, let me bring it back, Charlie, the racist Kirk, came on saying that. And look, all of y'all that's been deleting some of your white friends that you thought was friends that support Charlie Kirk, I ain't been deleting none of them off my Facebook. I've been keeping them right there because I was taught you keep your enemies close. You are now an enemy. Charlie Kirk didn't care about my life. You can paint that, oh, he was an evangelist and he was preaching for Christ. Where did Christ preach death on anybody? He never did. So stop it with that. That's right now, Charlie Kirk expresses the insecurity of little white guys and the damage or the Stockholm syndrome of stupid white women. Did you hear what I said? It is the Stockholm syndrome of stupid white women, Charlie Kirk, and the inadequacy and insecurity of white men that created Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk wouldn't come on to Chicago State to debate me. He would come on Chicago State and debate freshmen out of high school. He's a 31-year-old failed Harper College dude. Mad because he couldn't get into West again. Failed up because multi-billionaire individuals invested in Turning Point USA.
4.7 million.
And created that organization for him, even though he's an inadequate white dude that has no more than a high school diploma, just like Sean Hannity, just like a bunch of them on the right. that stand out here and motivate the rest of them, because in this country, the average person has a sixth grade education. That's dangerous. It's similar to what happened in Rome. What did Rome do? Stretch themselves militarily like the United States. Then they did the bread and circus thing. Built big stadiums. Come watch the gladiators as Rome collapsed in on itself. That's what's happening here. I'm not wishing the result of Rome, but truth sayers in history are always the first to be attacked because I'm telling the truth. We live in a country that is different from what we were taught it to believe. If the country lives in lies, no matter what the lies is, whether Tylenol is causing autism, when autism was discovered in 1910 or 11, and Tylenol was discovered in 1940 and 50. All of a sudden, that's where it comes from. We don't know where autism comes from. But how we could stop autism by giving every woman in the country that's pregnant free natal care, free nutrition, and free WIC. That's how we could definitely reduce the things. How could we eliminate the issue? Eliminate the issue of everybody having a sixth grade education, free college, and free education for everybody in the country. How could we eliminate the health issues in the country? By having free health care for everybody in the country. How could we eliminate racism in the country? By having an education system that teaches education throughout to everybody the truth, instead of lying and being deception, and the education and the media being a tool of propaganda. That's how we fix it. So I'm looking at the time on the clock.
No. Let's put a bow on that by reminding people what I've been reminding people and saying this for 5 years. You can trace it to the creation, Sean, or as I call, the hustle, because this whole, as they call it, a social construct of race, it's a hustle. You know, in Chicago, a con, that's like there's a good hustle and a bad hustle. That's a hustle. You had a small handful of wealthy, quote unquote, elite, socially, politically, economically powerful Europeans. White people never called themselves white before the 1680s. So
that's created because of slavery, and by the design that it said early on that if you were a Christian, you weren't allowed to be slaves. So how was that circumvented? By creating the colors, by creating races, and which said that, oh, a white person can't be a slave, but anybody less than white can be a slave. And look, initially, the transcontinental slave trade wouldn't have happened if the Native American had subjugated to them, but the Native American didn't.
Right. But
and so that created a different situation outside of the toxicity of Europe interacting with the Native Americans' health situation, which killed hundreds and hundreds of thousands of it. Read Howard Zinn's book about the true history of the United States. That's what I grew up reading.
Blankets infected with smallpox. But
yes.
I'm just tying up that point, and I'm doing it in a in a simple manner. As my grandfather and Joe Madison would say, put it where the ghost can get it. Like we back in the barbershop.
Yes, he did. Bless you, Joe Madison. I miss you so much.
We all do. This whole this hustle of race was created by these Europeans that have money, wealth, and power.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they could control more wealth. They could obtain more power. How? By pitting these poor working class Europeans that they refer to as peasants against darker people. And they had to come up with a way, well, if these poor Europeans that are peasants, we ain't fucking with these peasants. And if they ever wake up and realize that they're being hoodwinked, they'll turn on us. So we got to come up with a con or a hustle to distract them so we can dig in their pockets and to get these groups hating and fighting among themselves. Because if you are a student of history and you can study history,
Yeah.
Bigotry, hatred in all of its forms,
Yeah.
racism, you name the
Yeah.
form of hate and bigotry,
Hate.
misogyny,
Hate.
and sexism has
All of it
always
is hate.
been big
All of it is
business.
hate. All of it is hate.
And
At the end of the day,
it's big business.
it's big business. Here's the other thing. I want to bring 2 points, and this will be my closing statement. One, I want to piggyback off something when I watched. The most important thing I got from your previous monologues was black people and people in general having the same fire that they have for Jimmy Kimmel. And for me, excuse me, that's no takeaway from Jimmy Kimmel because he deserves it. He does it every single day. He's consistent with it from day one, and I pay attention to that. One of my favorites, obviously, is Stephen Colbert. The connection to Chicago and South Carolina, and having met him at a conference before, Stephen Colbert, straight talk. But I can't forget about others like the Roland Martins of the world. You all are a part of the bigger ecosystem because media landscape is changing. And I think it's important that we say this to the people we're talking about. Your platform and the YouTubes of the world, or the TikToks, or the Twitches, and all these different platforms are the new platforms because of the gluttony of network and major corporate media. The fact that they wanted to lead with the talking points. My first point of recognizing the media really wasn't on my team. I knew it deep down as a black person, I knew that. Because my grandparents taught me that.
You knew it in your soul.
So it wasn't new. But let's talk about as a person that was a media professional.
Mm-hmm. In the belly of the beast.
I worked at a media collaborative organization when 9/11 happened, and how we were told all to walk the line. They didn't have to tell me that. I live here. Look, let me say this real quick. Put a paperclip in what I just said, and I'm going to go back to it. We have our own internal conflicts in this country. The racism, sexism, bigotry, discrimination, socioeconomic issues, states different from states, whatever. But I would like to believe, and I'm not so sure about that now, 10 years ago, I would have been confirmed in it. Now, I don't know. If Russia or North Korea or Iran come here, we all gonna fuck them up. I don't know whether I believe that now. And I've never felt like this in this country. Look, that doesn't mean that I didn't disagree, that I knew there was racism, misogyny, bigotry, and all those different things. It just meant that I knew, especially after September 11th, that whatever was happening from outside that was attacking within, we were on the same team. What made me change that? 2016, y'all elected this dude. And then in 2024, you elected him again. I don't feel safe. To quote my wife, Kamel, watches Blondie Bulu. She's a podcaster from New Orleans. You got to check her out. She's a young chick. She's dope. She's a good podcaster. She reminds me of Kamel in a lot of ways. But anyway, what I'm pointing out by bringing her up is the community. Her big saying is the community is not safe. America is not safe. We're not safe now. We're not safe in as much as people let little things slide. Let me bring up one, and then I'm gonna get ready to go. Back in 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, the NRA was sending individuals and liaisons to Russia to talk to them about Second Amendment. Now, If everybody had more than a 6th grade education, their first warning flag would be the NRA, that's a Second Amendment organization, is sending representatives to Russia to talk about the Second Amendment. What's wrong with that? In case you don't know and you're watching this, the Russian people don't have a Second Amendment. They don't have access to guns like we have in this country. It's not allowed. It's outlawed. No other country operates like we do with the Second Amendment. That doesn't mean I don't agree with the Second Amendment. What I'm telling you is that was the canary in the coal mine that white nationalists, Christian nationalists, were uniting around the world. Why do I bring up white nationalists and Christian nationalists? Because it was white nationalists and Christian nationalists. And I know a lot of y'all say, you keep bringing up Hitler. You keep bringing up Hitler. Well, those of us that have more than a 6th grade education recognize that history repeats itself in different forms, different labels, but it's the same history because mankind on this planet does not know how to evolve behind the sexist, pettiest, racist, socioeconomic basic arguments. That's what mankind has done in this country throughout. And so here we go, 90 years, 80 years after Hitler, and it's the same repeat of the same thing. So much of a repeat. You can look this up. Those of you looking at the show, you right wingers, and say, oh, he's just talking all this shit. Alex Jones, one of y'all other cultist heroes, got a Nazi mustache today. Said chicks like it. Look it up. I'm not making it up. I saw that on my way to do your show. I was getting emails, and one of my left-wing people said, hey, look at this. And I read the article. Yes. So that's it. And so, Geno, thank you so much for bringing me on. I appreciate it. I'm hoping and praying that people get from this podcast that we're not talking about hate, but we're talking about being prepared. I think about the abolitionists. I think about Frederick Douglass. I think about Nat Turner. I think about Malcolm X. I think about Dr. King. I think about Fred Hampton. That's who fuels who I am. And I could name the list on and on and on. I think about Harold Washington. Yeah. Because I try to operate how Harold Washington, he wanted to find commonality. I think about Barack Obama, the president of the United States. He wanted to find commonality. And so I'm hoping that when we have these conversations, it opens the eyes of people to look deeper. This is a strategy. And any of us speaking out can be dealt with at any point. When you have the power of the federal government against dissent or against a particular political view. If it was President Kamala Harris doing what Trump is doing, I'd be speaking out the same way. Get the same. I didn't vote for Bill Clinton. Let me be clear. I didn't. I wrote in Colin Powell and I voted for Ross Perot in the first one. Because I'm not a Bill Clinton fan. I know this pisses off liberals, but I'm not a Bill Clinton fan. Never have been. Maybe not so much now. Maybe 30 years ago, maybe, but not so much now. I don't think you pissed off. I wasn't a fan of him 30 years ago. Yesterday, how they said on Dr. Seuss, I don't like green eggs and ham. On Tuesday, I don't like green eggs and ham. On Thursday, I don't like green eggs and ham. On Friday, I don't like Bill Clinton. I actually like his wife more than him. I'm with you on that. All right, before I let you go, as you kind of coach your throat with some libations, just real quick, let everybody know the debut of your podcast, as opposed to the TV show. So what I hope to do, we can find it, and where everybody can follow you and support you. So what I hope to do over the next coming weeks leading up to November 1st is I continue to try to negotiate something with a media company, and I'll leave that at that. Okay. It's to develop a program And I'll talk to the listeners of this show and you about joining my show and different things. Hopefully we can do this once a week leading up to that. Right now I'm kind of in the gray area because like I told you, my history starts with Nat Turner. That's the deepest thing. So that means I'm not sure whether I want to fall under the control of where I can't say what I want to say. And so I just want to work on a couple of things. But what I will say, the next time we talk, by this time next week, I will have a published article. I've had several published articles. And so what I'm going to start to do is just write and let the show develop out of my writing.
Well, I'm just, listen, your family, so we not even gonna do this in terms of, you already know. You got a permanent.
You're going to have me homeless if I don't go in here and cook dinner.
Yeah. All right. Well, you ain't going to be homeless, but you know you got a permanent home on this show. But I will just say in closing, I do it all. You got your presence, and you've got a permanent place on this show. Do yours.
Right.
Of course, I'll come on yours. Do everybody's. Do it all. Do it all.
Yep. Tell your mama, tell Mama Mary. Thank you so much. She inspires me.
Yeah, well, you know,
she always is. She's always right there. Yeah, I know she is. I appreciate you.
She's in the chat room.
So tell her that maybe one day.
She's watching now. You could tell her.
Yeah, so tell her maybe one day I'll just, since you ain't in town, I'll invite her, and if she want to bring your sister or brother out here during a Bears Sunday, I'll barbecue and she can come out and hang out here.
Well, you can, like I said, you don't say, I'll tell her, she's watching you now. You can tell her real.
Give her my number, share my number with her so we can set that up.
So
tell her to bring herself and some family, and I'll barbecue out here for her, and so we can watch a Bears game and laugh and joke so she can meet Kamel.
So Mother, he's speaking to you. I don't know why he's telling me to tell you. He's telling you because you're watching him in real time. The boy is hard-headed. I'm telling him that don't tell me shit. She looking at you. Speak to her. You family. You can say Mother Jones. Jeannie gonna set it up, and we'll come. Yes, we'll make that happen. She was in the hospital. She's home now. Okay. She fell out of the bed. I'm not throwing under the bed.
I will have her over with some family members while we watch a Bears game.
Oh, she loved that.
And on a Sunday afternoon barbecue, I'll make some. Listen, and I'm gonna say this as I get ready to go to this audience. I know the people in South Carolina and Louisiana listen to this know this. You ain't ate good until you had gumbo greens.
Oh, you right up her alley. All right, look, man, I love you, family. I appreciate you. Well, listen, there was so much we didn't get a chance to cover. I know your schedule, so
we will work it out, brother, no matter what I'm doing.
Okay, one day, tentatively, one day next week, I'm gonna grab you. Wednesday, Thursday.
Yes, we will be on here, and I'm building the show.
Yeah, but
hopefully I have the show information ready for y'all by like the middle of October.
Yeah, because we want to make a big, my 1 year anniversary is next Wednesday. But we want to make sure that
I'm on your show next Wednesday then, since it's your anniversary, if you don't mind having it.
Well, no, I'm thinking I want to have a big ass party, have a whole bunch.
A bunch of us.
Zoom meeting, so I think that'll be cool. So thank you for helping me produce that. But I want to make sure that we are amplifying your voice and your show and your platform. So, all right, Camille.
Thank you so much, Geno Jones. Shout out to all my South Carolina people that listen all the time. Shout out to you and your family. Y'all have always been supportive no matter what I've been going through. And I'm always going to be down for the Geno Jones Show. And I hope that the Geno Jones Show can participate in some things that I have planned coming on in the future. And I just appreciate just you having this platform that you share and that you just speaking truth to power. I mean, I know one of the things I like to bring up all the time to everybody, when you came into the Charleston market on the radio, I remember that day that you started and I heard you on the radio. I was like, damn, this dude sound good. Had no clue that he was from Chicago. And I remember knowing that you were going to be at some club. I can't remember. And I showed up at that club, and I walked up to you and said, "Hey, brother, what's up? I'm Sean Mitchell. I'm on this radio." So you was like, "Hey, what's up?" And we got to talking. Yep, it was the end zone. And I remember saying to you, "I'm from Chicago." You was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm from Inglewood. And I remember saying to you, Inglewood? I'm like, I'm from the west side. He was like, it's all. I remember that. And ever since then, me and you have been close. I remember I was doing weekends at 97.7 and doing voice tracking for the hip hop station, whatever it was, Hot 90, whatever it was then at the time. And I told you that the brother, he passed, he was
Michael T.
close.
Michael T.
Michael T said after Obama died, because I came to Michael T and I kept talking to him, hey, I want to do a black progressive show. He was like, man, I don't know about that. And he's like, let me get back to you. Michael T went and talked to the folks that's over the radio station. I got to give them credit because I know they're conservative. And I'm sure if I sat down with them right now today, they'd probably give me a show again because they've always been fair. Even if they got different politics.
Well, it's a whole different company now. That's.
Oh, okay. Well, let me speak about the previous people. They were fair, and when they heard that I wanted to do a progressive show, they thought it was awesome. They was trying to figure out how to sell it and all that stuff, and they gave me that platform to say whatever I wanted to say. And so I bring that up is that one of my first guests on that show was you. Because me and you used to talk politics because we was the black men in the radio station along with Michael T. And Michael T would be like, y'all too radical for me.
Yeah.
But we would always talk politics. And what I loved about it was the fact that Michael T let us be us.
Yeah.
And I've lost several friends is because I'm in my 50s now. So a lot of my mentors in radio are like in their 60s, 70s, 80s. Some of them are in their 90s. And they're leaving. But every time I talk to one of them and they see me on this show and I share their video, they say, you are doing radio, even though it's podcasting now, the right way.
Yep.
And so, Geno, thank you for doing radio the way that we were taught to do radio, where the black radio and now podcasting community was the voice of freedom. And that's important in this day and age, for us to be the voice of freedom.
We grew up listening to a station called WVON, the voice of the Negro, and all that. But
what? The voice of the Negro.
That's what VON.
People don't know WV, right?
VON, wow. That's what those call letters stand for. The voice of the Negro.
They did talk and radio. They did all the music.
Yes.
They did.
But
covered,
they have personalities, and they dealt with social, political, in real time. It was very topical.
I can't think of the name of the first station, black station in Pittsburgh, but they set the tone for VON and all these different. And Memphis had a black station.
Well,
Atlanta had one.
I think AOK. That's the actual first black.
No, it actually. Let me dive into my CMAT degree. It's Pittsburgh. Is the first African American radio station in the country, and I can tell you the name of it in a minute because I know that from.
There's been some debate but that's not the point I wanted to make. I guess
I know.
The closing point was when you were saying that you would hope that I will, work with you in whatever capacity that you are doing something.
You are right. WERD, October 3rd, 1949, in Georgia. Damn.
It's okay.
I apologize. The professor is wrong.
No need to. Look, we none of us, nobody, as my mother tells me, trust me, and it probably helped save my marriage. She's like, Jeannie, you can't always be right. So trust from somebody who's a male Taurus who always wanted to be right because I just didn't want to be wrong. That's really my DNA default position. But I've learned it. I'm glad my mother taught me that.
I appreciate you. I love you for that.
But the bottom line is, listen, you already know. We talked about this. I'm saying it on camera. I don't have to. Anything that you do, we are family. I know a lot of people say that, but this is real.
You're right.
We just didn't come out the same. We just didn't come out the same womb. but DNA don't make you family.
We was both broke at the same time.
Well, actually, I've had waves. As a matter of fact, when you got here, I was probably maybe a little more so than where I'm getting back up, but it was like one of them oscillated. It wasn't a straight line. It was because I was with Michael T. I was doing pretty good, but that's a whole nother conversation. Thank you to your queen. Thank you. Tell her that we love her. Go ahead, because it's dark.
Shout out to my Facebook audience. Shout out to my Proviso East, Grambling State University, NIU, Chicago State. Shout out to Maywood. Shout out to my best friend, Corey Thompson. His wife disappeared, and she was found. She's found safe. Another black sister that everybody is aware of, and I just want to make sure I said that because it was profound in my household and with my close friends that I grew up with. And so one thing we want to be aware of is mental health for all of us. And the other thing we want to be aware of, the importance of putting out a network when a black life goes missing.
Absolutely. I'll be doing so much, because the 5th year, there's a lot of new layers I'm going to add to the show. All right, look, I love you, fam. Go ahead. I don't want your queen yelling.
I'm out. I got to cook. Go
cook, man. I'll have your queen wait. We'll see you next week. All right. Thank you. That's my brother, Sean Mitchell. Listen, everybody, thank you for letting me be a part of your life. God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, God, most of all. Thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show, brought to you by CojoLLC.com. Courtney Johnson, if you're looking to buy and sell a home here in the Carolinas, South Carolina, North Carolina, give her a call. 843-543-4022. 843 area code 543-4022. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share this in every episode. Share it, tag it to all your family, friends, followers, whoever, church members, co-workers, your colleagues, fraternity, sorority, brothers and sisters. The next live edition, special live edition, Friday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Central Time, 4:30 p.m. on the West Coast. So 7:30, East Coast, Carolinas, Charleston, Charlotte, Hilton Head, Myrtle Beach, Raleigh, up in Asheville, from New York, from Philly, New York, Boston to D.C., all the way down to Miami, Atlanta. 6:30 from Chicago, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Chicago, St. Louis, Memphis, Jackson, Mississippi, and Little Rock, Arkansas, down to New Orleans, Dallas, and Houston. 4:30 p.m. out on the West Coast, live in Los Angeles and Las Vegas, Portland, and Seattle, the Bay Area, Oakland, San Francisco, San Diego. We will see you Friday. Thank you for watching.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.
Lake City, South Carolina, what's going on? This is the Crown Prince of Soul Music, Calvin Richardson. Stopping by to let you know that Friday, September the 26th, I will be at the Lake City Events with the young Sugar Daddy. Just then, he'll be performing live along with Level 10's live band. DJ Tony T will be on the 1s and 2s. So make sure that you're in the place to be, because I want to meet and greet you while you're there. Friday, September the 26th. Get your tickets at IamCalvinRichardson.com.